We came to run up a bag today. Yes, yes, we came to run up a bag today. Yo, 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 what is going on YouTube? It's Karma Speaks. Back with another video. Came across this video. This is from somebody that I do like internet wise, because obviously you don't want to just idolize another man, but like internet wise, this is somebody that I used to watch very often when I was going through my self-improvement journey. And he dropped a lot of game in this video, but I'm going to play a small part of it, and I'm going to expand on that.
You have to understand that success requires some sort of sacrifice. Okay. Growing up, man, I had friends who I used to hang around all the time, right? And as you start to ascend in life, you start to leave people, behind, right? And what happens is you start to feel guilty. You start to have this guilt in your mind, like, damn, like I want these guys to come with me. I want to help these guys, but sometimes these guys they don't get it, and I don't know what it's gonna take for them to get it. And sometimes in order for a person to get it, bro, you gotta remove yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes in order for a person to really see the bigger picture, bro, you gotta remove yourself and show them the bigger picture. Don't just tell them, you gotta show them, bro. You feel what I'm saying? And success is an everyday, it's an everyday required action that you need to do on an everyday basis, bro, whether you feel like doing it or not, bro.
I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. Go check out Steph is Cold. Go check out Steph is Cold. This is like this is probably like the #1 person that I used to watch as a, 17, 18-year-old when I was going through my self-improvement journey. Like when I first started, like he's really about, getting to the gym, get cold, get that chicken back, everything like that, right? But what he said really like stuck with me today because I haven't watched him in a long, long time. But it was the fact that not everybody's gonna come with you to the top or to whatever level you're trying to get to. Not everybody is gonna be able to follow you there. And sometimes you got to remove yourself to show them what the possibilities are, kind of, right? Like there are a number of individuals in my life, or kind of like passerbyers or whatever, where it's just like, look, I told you this is what I'm doing and that we should do it together, or that, there's more to life than just 9 to 5 work or whatever, like wagey stuff there is. And I don't mean to like, bash on people with 9 to 5s, because, if it's your thing, it's your thing. Like being a self-employed individual, it's not easy. It's actually much harder and it's a lot riskier. And if you want stability, 9 to 5 is 100% the way to go. But there are a lot of times in the past where I would kind of, you know, preach my philosophy even without having the result yet, right? I would say, oh, entrepreneurship or self-employment or doing your own thing or having control of your own life. Yeah, I didn't have no bag yet. I didn't have no proof, no proof of concept, no social proof. I didn't have a clientele. I didn't have no money. I mean, I had my lady, but yeah, that's it. Like getting girls was never an issue, so that's not anything impressive at that point. And so a lot of times it would be hard to communicate the idea or get people to see the light, get people to see the other side until I had that chicken back to go along with it. Right? Like you guys see me talk about how much I was able to save this past year. I guess last year now, 2025, I saved 85K in 1 year. Saved 85K in 1 year. 6 figures this year as a 22-year-old. Everybody just graduated college. So just with that alone, now people start to listen. Like they don't fully like, dive right in, but like it's kind of like, oh, like, okay, he made over 6 figures and he saved a lot of money. So like he must know at least something that I don't know, because right now I'm still making 30 grand a year. Right. And so even if you're not able to show them the light or show them what's on the other side of things, you got to realize that not everybody wants to, not everybody is going to be able to go to the other side with you, right? And it doesn't mean you have to completely cut them off. Me personally, I do think that you should. Like people that don't believe in the vision, or that don't choose to see it, or that just completely like disregard it because they're afraid to, then yeah, you can cut them off or you can distance yourself or whatever. But a lot of times it's just like Those people just aren't going to be able to go to the places that you want to go. They can still be your friends, your family, your acquaintances, girlfriends, whatever it is. But you got to realize that there are differences between you two, and you're not going to be able to just like always stay at that level, their level, because you are who you surround yourself with, right? And so something that I've done over this past year that really helped me out financially, mentally, and everything like that is, though I have the people around me that, I love and I trust and I, confide in, I'm my biggest motivator and I'm my biggest critic. I'm my biggest um mentor, right? I'm my biggest, basically everything, because I know that even though I have people around me that I love, they're not on the same page as me. They don't have the same mindset as me. They might not be as frugal as me. They might not, like, if most people make over a certain amount, they're spending a whole lot more money. I still live like I'm broke, like completely wiped out, no money every single day. There's not a day that I don't live like that, to be honest. Like only when it's an obligation to somebody else. Like if it's my anniversary with my lady or her birthday, that's the only time I'm spending money. I don't spend any money any other time of the year. It's just because I gotta take care of that business. But outside of that, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a miser. And so not everybody's willing to do those things. And not everybody's willing to bet on themselves. And not everybody is willing to just like stray away or go through hard things or be uncomfortable. And sometimes you got to cut them off, but sometimes you just have to sit by yourself and analyze these situations by yourself. And that's kind of what I did. Is like, I know that I got to work extremely hard every single day. I got to clock in every single day. But my point is that a lot of times you have to become your own circle, and you have to take the other people around you with almost like a grain of salt. Like their existence to you is, you're an important person to me, but what you say and what you tell me doesn't really mean much because you're not at that point in your life, or you don't see things the way that I see things, or you don't see things the way I want you to see things. If I had a group of 9 to 5 wages as my circle, and me and my dad had spoke about this the other day, he was like, some people don't grow up with the idea of anything outside of it, right? They don't both my parents despise jobs. Both of them wanted to be entrepreneurs or just do their own thing. Grandfather, he did his jobs early in his career, but then he did start like a funeral home and everything like that. So it's like all these things coupled together. I've always been around people that were self-employed and got their money their own way. So what other option would there be for me? Right? Like I could go both ways, but it's like I've seen other people do it already. Why can't I? But other people from different families, everybody has a 9 to 5 job. Everybody works for somebody else. So it's a no-brainer just to get a 9 to 5 job and work for somebody else. And so I have to stop. He said, don't be so negative towards it because that's all they know. And I understand that now. But even with that being the case, you have to realize who you need to listen to. I don't want to be a 9 to 5 worker. I want to have total autonomy of my time, my money, my freedom, how much I can possibly grow, what I can do in this world. And a 9 to 5 will never get you there. Never. You could get a really high paying one. You could be like really high up in a company, then you'll be close to it. But anything below that, that middle management, that lower class, you are constantly on this hamster wheel chasing after pennies, chasing after the top people's scraps. I promise you. And so with that, with knowing that at least, I have to analyze who's around me, right? So I got this uncle over here who works a 9 to 5 job. I got this aunt over here who works a 9 to 5 job. They're both vocal towards me, like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I have to discern and say, you know what? I think what you just said is really fucking stupid. Like, pardon my tongue, but like that's kind of what I got to say sometimes. Or if I got a friend over here who does construction, and then another friend over here that is garbage man or whatever, and they're like, oh man, like, I like my job because I get stability. Like I know every single week I'm gonna get $1,000 or whatever. And I kind of got to discern and be like, you know what? That's cool, whatever, but it's just not for me. Especially after the fact that I've done certain things, like I've made $2,000 in a day. or I've made $4,000 in a week. Like all those different things coupled together, it makes you think like, why would I ever go back to, that other thing? Why? It doesn't make sense. And so you gotta analyze your circle. Doesn't mean you gotta cut them off, but you do have to realize a lot of times you're gonna be your own best friend. You're gonna be your own mentor. You're gonna be your own like your inner thoughts are gonna have to control what you do in life. If you got a lady like my lady, she sees me work very hard, and you know how it is in a relationship. They want to be lazy, they want to lay up in bed, they want to, cuddle and do all this stuff or whatever. And then sometimes I gotta just say, like, look, no, no, not exactly to her. Like I don't have to say it to her, but what I do have to say in my mind is like, look, she's a lady. She's gonna be taken care of for the rest of her life, and that's okay. But your circumstance is different. You're not a lady with a father that has money or with a man that will always be able to take care of you in some regard. That's not your circumstance. So you have to get up and you have to work and you got to get business done and you got to do this for the rest of your life, the rest of your life. And then you're going to have to do it for other people's lives too. Because just how that lady has a daddy that's going to be able to take care of her for the rest of her life, if all else fails, you got to do the same for your child, your son, your daughter, your wife. So again, you got to take everything that other people say with a grain of salt. You don't just get to pick and choose and say, yeah, I don't feel like it. Or like, no, especially like when you're in that building phase. This is the most crucial part of it. This is the pinnacle of the building phase is knowing who to listen to and who not to. A rich person like a really rich person will never tell you not to work hard. Only poor people or people that are just above the middle class will tell you, oh, you need to have a lifestyle or whatever it is. Like you got to do like this middle ground bullshit. Only like middle class and people right above middle class will say that shit. And I've noticed it this year in particular because I ask a lot of my clients, how much do you make? Not to pocket watch, but I just want to know, like, where are you in life? You're 40 years old. Are you making $200,000 plus? Some of them, yes, some of them, no. And those individuals are the ones that are like, oh, no, you got to get rest. You got to do this to like have a nice, healthy balance of work and life and lifestyle and this and that. And then the people with millions and millions of dollars, they say you just got to work. You got to work. You got to delegate too, and you got to have other people do your tasks, but you got to work 24/7. And that's the difference between the rich and those middle class and brokies. The brokies think, and look, I'm going to categorize everybody upper middle class and below as a brokie. The brokies believe that you need a lifestyle coupled with your source of income. Like you need to be able to wake up leisurely and, read books on the side and do all this stuff. And they'll just give random bullshit. And then the real rich people that I speak to, when I ask them questions, they're like, I stayed down for 10, 15 years. And then I continue to work 16 hours a day plus, even though I'm a millionaire, a multimillionaire. That's the difference. And that's why it's so crucial in the building part of your life to have such a structured plan. You got to be your program has to be so structured. Your program with your lady has to be structured. Your program with your parents got to be structured. You got to let them know, like, I'm lucky enough to where my parents are both like, do your thing. And now that I've gotten to the point where I'm at, they believe in me so much. They're like, yo, he's done this already. What else could he do? And I'm so blessed for that. But if you don't have that, you got to have structure with your lady. You got to have structure with your parents. Let them know, like, look, this is what I'm doing. You got to have structure with your friend group. You got to tell them, like, look, right now I'm not worried about women, so like I don't need to be on top of the world right now. This is what I'm building. I might be a brokey for a certain period of time, which is what I was for a period of time. It was like the first 2 years or 2.5 years out of high school. I didn't have no money, no money, no money. And I was always the kid that had a little bit because, again, miser throughout my whole life. So I would just save, save, save everything that I could possibly get. And I would always have some type of money on hand at all times. And then that period from like 18 or 19-ish to like 20, nothing. And so sometimes when I would speak to my friends, they would be like, yo, like get a job or do this and that. And at periods I would for like a month or 2 months at a time. But then I would realize this isn't This isn't me. This isn't what I want. This isn't what I need to do to level up in life. I don't need to be a wagey. I need to be running my own thing. I need to be my own boss. Appreciate everybody that watched this. Peace.